know what I mean? We're always going to have lightning strikes. We're always going to have starts. We're always going to have fires. And, you know, you either take care of it and clean it up, and we either do it, or, you know, nature's going to do it. And nature can sometimes be pretty ruthless in the way she handles things. And I mean, I think we've seen that in a lot of natural disasters, not just fire. And, you know, you either get in there and you help mitigate things, or, you know, you let it do its work. And sometimes when we just let it, you know, maybe that's hard for us to recognize as humans. We've been so closely tied to, you know, our idea of how we impact nature, how we don't impact nature, or, you know, how things work for us as Homo sapiens. You know, we think that, you know, we are kind of above all of this, and ultimately it's going to do it. And we can either use our, you know, intelligence and ingenuity as, you know, the dominant creature on the planet. And I don't mean dominant as better than, but I mean just as the fact that we're humans, and, you know, we definitely tend to run things. And so we're either going to manage it and take care of things and take care of our own and take care of the forest, or, you know, nature's going to do it. This is a job you do because you have a passion for it and because you love what you do, and you'll never get through it otherwise. But I also think that it's a great way to find yourself. And if you're one of those individuals that, you know, maybe you're a young person and you're looking for that next step, that next adventure, maybe that life experience that's just going to take you to the next level, or give you something that you can hold on to and tell your grandkids, or, you know, whatever it is, you know, fire can definitely be that thing, because it's breathtaking in so many ways, and it's a great experience. And so I would say that if you have a love of nature and you have a love of, you know, hard work, and you don't mind getting dirty, then it's probably for you. But, you know, if you just assume play your Xbox or hang out at home or maybe do an office job, then there's nothing wrong with that, you know, then probably stay there. A lot of people I know, you know, they wanted to do it just for material reasons, and that never works out. You know, it's got to be deeper than that. You got to have a love of nature. You got to have a love of the whole thing. There are times where you're dirty and you're cold, or you're hot, or you're tired, or you're just miserable in one way or the other. You got to be able. You have to have a certain mental toughness to be able to push through that. There are so many individuals I know that, you know, have come from different backgrounds. They consider themselves real tough, you know, and maybe the, you know, big one right now is we get a lot of the MMA fighters and stuff that come out, and, you know, maybe they've done it in a sport scenario, or maybe they're a football player, or they've had, you know, and so they're, you know, big, tough, robust people. And they get out there and they notice or realize real quickly it's a different kind of toughness. You know, it's not maybe how much, you know, your max bench press is. You know, that doesn't matter. What matters is, you know, how tough are you in your mind? You know, what can you get through, and what kind of storms internally can you weather? Because you got to be out there, you know, for weeks, and you're working long hours, and sometimes without much rest, and you're expected to, you know, perform at, you know, peak capacity during those times, and you gotta keep the energy up. And if you don't have that kind of mental toughness, you're not gonna make it. You break, and it's just a totally different thing.